welcome everyone to this week's episode of Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge Season 35 Total Madness Episode 13. Now on this episode of The Challenge, we had a daily challenge called Blocked In, where it was a slide puzzle. You had to move all the cars out of the way so that this one red car would be released, get over the finish line, and the quickest team to do this wins, get into the tribunal. All 7 of them would get into the tribunal and hold all the power. Now, I wanted to go over this daily challenge and kind of go over the strategies that each team went with. In Team 1, they went with a strategy of one person does all the talking and the puzzle solving, while the other 6 people are just pushing the cars out of the way, doing whatever the puzzle solver says. Now, I completely understand why they went with this strategy. Having 7 people talking at once would be very confusing or get it muddied. They elect Rogan to be the puzzle master, which, I don't know, I was a bit confused by it that he would be elected the puzzle master. I don't think there is a lot of evidence or proof that we've seen in his couple of seasons on the challenge that shows that he is the puzzle master. Also, he talked about Tetris when this really isn't very much a Tetris type game. So right away after TJ blows the horn, they run into the puzzle and people are moving cars, which is contradictory to the strategy that they were coming in with already. But then Rogan takes his time and surveys the land, surveys the puzzle for a good while, especially in the edit, and to the point where Jenny and Anissa were deciding that, hey, in this time of silence, how about we move this or we do this? And they were automatically shut down. They were shushed by their whole team. Even when Anissa was just like, hey, what if we just move the one car in the corner, and they just shut her down right away. Again, I completely understand where they were going with this strategy, but I think the main point of the strategy is to not have everybody talking over each other and getting confused. But when they were talking, like, there wasn't a lot of talking at that moment, so they decided to speak up. But once they spoke up, they were instantly shut down, which rubbed me the wrong way. I think Jenny has really proven herself that she can do the puzzles really, really well. I think Team 2's strategy was a lot more cohesive, and they just barely lost. I get that they probably moved the cars a couple of more times than they needed to, and the edit really made it seem as though that they were a lot more smooth in their approach to the puzzle. And I just thought that the daily challenge was good. I almost think that they should have done it earlier in the season with a lot more people, because 7 people in the tribunal was a lot. Maybe they should have done it when there was 15 people in it, had teams of 5. I did like the daily challenge. I just didn't like what was going on within the daily challenge and how the strategies were executed. Now, the main storyline that happened this episode was between Nany, Kaycee, and Bayleigh, as there was friendships and betrayal happening within this trio. We haven't seen much of Kaycee throughout this whole season until this episode, when her and Nany's friendship and also her and Bayleigh's friendship was put up into the forefront. Kaycee and Nany's relationship is a lot more handsy and a lot more physical than what we were led to believe. This goes back and makes a lot more sense in episode 7 when Anissa had a talk with Kaycee at the bar saying, hey, I know you have a girlfriend at home, you're very vocal about it. Maybe be careful of what you do in the house, because no matter how small or how big, it could really mess things up for you back home. And then there was nothing. We went multiple episodes without anything happening until the previous episode that we had. And then we move on to this episode and Anissa talking to Kaycee again, saying, hey, look, you guys are getting really close. I'm telling you, people are starting to talk, things will leak out, and things will happen. You need to check yourself if you're really wanting to keep your relationship back home, to where there's unseen footage being passed around social media where Nany and Anissa got into a huge argument and another huge fight about this talk that Anissa had with Kaycee that is very reminiscent in the bar. However, Nany is stone cold sober as they have it in the bunker, and Nany starts talking crap about Anissa. It's like, how many times are we gonna go around this? How many times are you gonna blame the bunker? Now, Nany and Kaycee's friendship / relationship bleeds into Kaycee's BB pack that she came into the season, to where it is huge betrayal to Bayleigh when Kaycee does not have her best interest at heart and does not decide to vote Bayleigh into this week's elimination and decides to go for Melissa because that's what Nany wants and who Nany wanted to face in the elimination. And some people are frustrated with Bayleigh and how she reacted to Kaycee, but again, you have to realize that Bayleigh thought that her and Kaycee had a much stronger friendship and relationship than what was seen in the episode. She thought because of everything that happened on Big Brother, which a lot of Big Brother fans are posting up receipts from the live feeds, and Kaycee's quote-unquote social game looks very similar with what her social game is with Nany in this season of the challenge. So with what was happening with Nany, with what was happening with her and Bayleigh on Big Brother, of course, these women are thinking that they are closer with Kaycee than what she may be thinking in her own brain. She might be thinking this is harmless flirtation, but there is a line that Kaycee seems to be crossing that she is unaware of, that she is mixing game and game moves with real emotions, and to the point where Nany thinks that Kaycee is her soulmate and checks every single box because she is just a beautiful and genuine person. And Bayleigh thought that there was something going on in the Big Brother house because of the way Kaycee was acting towards her. And so when we see this betrayal and this act happening in the show, of course, Bayleigh is thinking, oh, Kaycee has my back. Come to find out, there's no way. She just traded my friendship in for Nany. If my ride or die just left in an elimination and then somebody that I knew for a very long time who I thought had my back 100% and was going to support me completely left me on an island all alone, I would feel hurt. I would feel betrayed as well. Kaycee's quote-unquote social game, and it's essentially grabbing a girl and bringing her in, a girl that she is attracted to, a woman that she is attracted to, bring her in, get her really close, and be handsy, be very flirtatious with them, and then stick with them until too far into the game, and then you just drop it. And that is going past a certain point in the game where it goes from social game to real emotions and doing stuff outside of the game. Now, in this week's episode of The Challenge, we saw Nany volunteer herself to go into the elimination against Melissa, and it was a valiant effort, but she lost, being eliminated from this game and out, close-ish to the finals of this season. We have to wait and see what's going to happen. There's still 13 people left in this house. I wonder what's going to happen. But with this elimination loss, Nany hit some big challenge history marks, and it's not in a good way. So with this elimination loss, she ties Aneesa with 9 losses for the most elimination losses in challenge history. On the women's side, she's only behind really Bananas in the most elimination losses ever. With 14, she's tied with Aneesa at second place with 9. Then she's also on a 4 elimination losing streak. She hasn't won an elimination since Rivals 3 in episode 11, where she was teamed up with Wes and they won against Nate and Christina. And she is 0-4 in individual solo elimination rounds. She has not won a single individual elimination in her whole challenge career. And if she is not the one person with the most challenge season appearances without an individual elimination win, she ranks high up there. And that's an incredible stat for me to think about because her only final appearance was on Free Agents, a solo season, and she made it to the final. She got second place, but she did not see a single elimination that whole season, so she was able to make it to a finals. So if we're gonna see her on future seasons of the challenge, she needs to do something, train a little bit harder, and put in that work, because if they keep this Red Skull twist in the game for future seasons on, and she's gonna be on the cast list for future seasons on, then she's gonna have to change up her game and change up the way she does her things, because if she wants to make it to another finals soon, she's gotta put in that work. Now I have some comments I picked out from my Thursday's video of The Challenge Season 35 Total Madness Episode 13 review, and the first one up is from Thomas What Up. He says, has anyone ever told you that you look like an Ashmore, as in Shawn Ashmore? I've never heard that before, but maybe in the comment section, let me know if you agree with Thomas. Do I look like Shawn Ashmore? ASAP Joker 16 says, I think it's weird that it's 14 people left in the house and they decided to have half of the people in the tribunal. I completely agree. When he said that the people were going to be put into 2 groups of 7, I was like, wow, that's a lot of people to be putting into a tribunal and a power position. I completely understand why they went with the 2 teams of 7 for this daily challenge in particular, but also they should have done, I feel, this daily challenge way earlier in the season, like made it for the final 15 or the 20 people left in the season. You could have had a lot more teams of 5 possibly. For 7 people to be in a position to where they have all the power is a lot of people, and I just don't understand that thinking. Lil Jill Jones says, why ain't Nany been casted on X on the Beach yet? It could just be her and all her exes in the house. That is completely true. I'm not gonna lie, you don't even have to cast anybody else in this house, just Nany and all of her exes. Oh boy, like they have a lot to choose from if they were to bring in all of her exes. That is great. That is a great thought. Get on it, MTV, with your X on the Beaches. 5 Santum says, I don't know why Nany was so worried about winning the daily challenge. If they'd lost, she'd be the house vote simple. It's not like the girls on her side would vote themselves in. That's completely true. I even thought about that in the daily challenge portion. I was like, it's so convenient that Team 2 lost and they had the 4 women to where they could have a house vote and keep the 3 interrogation room situation. Where on if Team 1 lost, they only had 3 women on their team, where Nany would be the house vote. They had 2 people to interrogate, only 2 people, and it really didn't matter because both Melissa and Bayleigh wanted to go into the elimination against Nany, and then I'm sure it would have just turned into the other people in the tribunal would get to vote who would get to volunteer themselves, and it would be the house vote from this episode just in the tribunal, which I feel as though this would have been the same outcome. So to me, it didn't make any sense. I didn't know why Nany was like super really having to go in. It's like neither Jenny or Anissa want to go in, so everybody else would have just voted Nany in any ways, regardless. The next comment comes from Brett Larkin, who says, do you think they were told not to stand on the cars in the daily? That had to have been a rule, because I can't believe they were all too big of idiots to think of that. I do think that that was a rule just for the sole fact that nobody stood on either the cement framing of this daily challenge or on any of the cars to get a better view or a better aerial view. So it had to be a design, that had to be a rule. And the final comment comes from Victoria Autumn 20. I know everyone in the comments is trashing Nany's elimination record, but don't forget she won 4 extra eliminations in Battle of the Exes 2 in the Redemption/Exiled house. I think she just does much better with a partner. She always seems to psych herself out on her own. Also, her elimination in War of the Worlds was completely garbage when they duct taped them to the chairs. I agree. I didn't mention it, but yes, in Battle of the Exiled, she did win 4 extra eliminations to get back into the game, to win back into the game. Mainly that was completely off camera, which I felt was like trash. And yes, I always hated that duct tape chairs. It was mainly Wes and Turbo's taping skills that ultimately led to whoever won that elimination. So I agree with that, but it's still an elimination. It's still an elimination loss, and she's not won a ton since Rivals 3, and that was because her partner was Wes, and so the rest of her seasons was 1 and 8. So I think that she can still do well in seasons. It's just that she does not do well in eliminations. That's a lot of people's downfalls. Just like puzzles are people's downfalls, just like math are people's downfalls. Some are not able to do as physically well in some of the challenges. It's just her downfall is the eliminations, and it's not good because the way this game is progressing and the way things are changing, it seems as though that they're going to keep this Red Skull twist because a lot of the audience likes it, and I think the producers like it. And I think that's what's gonna happen moving forward, which doesn't help Nany's situation unless she goes into an elimination that she can for sure win that's not possibly physical. Maybe she would have done better inside the box against Maddie. You never know what could have happened, but we'll have to wait and see. But what do you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What do you think about the daily challenge, the elimination, all the drama? Let me know that in the comment section below. Also, do I look like Shawn Ashmore? I can't believe I'm asking that. But what do you think? Let me know that in the comment section below. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.